They called him Heartless for leaving after his brother got his wife pregnant. I met him after he disappeared. Now they want him back. But he belongs to me. I met Arden Cade at a commercial property auction in Denver. Not some charity gala or networking mixer, an actual foreclosure auction where investors circle distressed assets like vultures. I was there representing a client who wanted an office complex in Lodo. Arden was there for himself. He sat 3 rows ahead of me, perfectly still while everyone else fidgeted with their phones or whispered to advisors. When the auctioneer started the bidding on a mid-rise office building with foundation issues, Arden raised his paddle once. Just once. The number he called out destroyed the room. He won. No drama. No posturing. I watched him sign the paperwork afterward, clean signatures, no hesitation, zero celebration. Then he walked out like he'd just bought coffee, not $1 million building. I'm an appellate attorney. I'm trained to notice patterns, inconsistencies, things that don't fit. Arden Cade didn't fit. So I followed him outside. That was either brilliant or insane, I said. He turned, barely curious. Which do you think? Depends on what you know about the foundation. He almost smiled. I know enough. That's how it started. Professional interest. He needed legal work for his acquisitions. I needed clients who actually paid their invoices on time. We exchanged information. I ran conflicts checks. 2 weeks later, I was drafting LLC documents for a portfolio that made my eyebrows raise. Arden wasn't just successful. He was invisible. Everything ran through layered holding companies. Clean titles. No partners. No board. No investors breathing down his neck. He owned distressed commercial properties across 3 states, but if you Googled his name, you'd find nothing. No LinkedIn. No social media. No interviews. No trace. I've worked with plenty of wealthy clients. They all want the same thing: recognition. Plaques on buildings. Names in Forbes lists. Mentions at charity dinners. Arden wanted none of it. Over the next few months, professional boundaries blurred. Late-night contract reviews turned into dinners. Dinners turned into conversations that had nothing to do with easements or zoning laws. He was sharp, deliberate, present in a way most people aren't. He listened more than he spoke. And when he did speak, every word had weight. But here's what I noticed: he gave me nothing about his past. No family photos in his penthouse. No mentions of back home. No wedding ring tan line. No nostalgic references to college buddies or childhood neighborhoods. It wasn't evasion, it was surgical removal. Like he'd taken an eraser to everything before Denver and left nothing but blank space. I didn't push. I respect boundaries. But my legal brain clocked every deliberate omission. 6 months in, we were having dinner at his place. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city, minimalist furniture, not a single personal item on display. We'd just finished going over acquisition documents for a property in Boulder when the conversation shifted. "Can I ask you something?" he said. "You're paying me hourly. Ask whatever you want." He set down his wine glass. "Why did you become an appellate attorney?" "Because trial lawyers get too emotional. I prefer arguments that rely on logic, not performance." He studied me for a long moment. "Then, what would you do if someone you trusted destroyed everything, and everyone expected you to just forgive it?" I didn't hesitate. I'd make sure they never had the chance to ask twice. Something shifted in his expression. Recognition, maybe. Respect. "Would you believe me if I said I had good reason to live like I'm in witness protection?" he asked. "I'm an attorney. I believe evidence." He leaned back, considering. The silence stretched, but I didn't fill it. I just waited. Finally, he spoke. "I'll show you everything. But once I do, you'll have to decide if you still want this." I didn't break eye contact. "Show me." That night, he told me about the brother who destroyed him. And the family who asked him to pretend it never happened. Arden refilled both our glasses before he started talking. 5 years ago, I was married, he said. Her name was Sloan. We ran a hospitality company with my younger brother, Viren. Cade Hospitality Group, boutique hotels across the Midwest. Nothing massive, but profitable. My parents started it, and Viren and I were supposed to carry it forward. He spoke without emotion, like he was reciting facts from a contract. I handled acquisitions and financing. Viren managed operations. It worked. We had clear divisions of responsibility, and for the most part, we stayed out of each other's way. "Sounds functional," I said. It was. Until it wasn't. He took a drink, then continued. "Sloan got pregnant. I was happy about it, genuinely happy. We'd been talking about kids for a year, and the timing felt right. Business was stable. Marriage was solid. Or so I thought. I already knew where this was going. I'd heard enough betrayal stories and depositions to recognize the setup. 1 week after she told me about the pregnancy, she broke down. Said she needed to tell me the truth. His jaw tightened slightly. The baby wasn't mine. It was Viren's. Jesus. 8 months, Arden said flatly. The affair had been going on for 8 months. Not a mistake. Not a one-time thing. A deliberate, sustained relationship with my brother. I didn't interrupt. He needed to finish this. I confronted Viren the next day. Didn't yell. Didn't throw punches. Just asked him if it was true. He didn't even try to deny it. Arden's voice went colder. He said, "You were never around. She needed someone who was present." That's his defense? I asked. That was his justification. Like I was supposed to apologize for working to build something for our family. He set his glass down, hands completely steady. My parents called an emergency meeting. All of us in the same room, me, Viren, Sloan, my mother and father. I thought they'd take my side. I thought they'd understand that some lines can't be uncrossed. They didn't. No. They understood perfectly. They just chose differently. He leaned forward. My mother said it was terrible. My father said it was unacceptable. But then they explained that Viren has a degenerative kidney condition. That he needed family support, not isolation. That the baby was still a Cade, regardless of the circumstances. I felt my hands tighten around my glass. They told me I was the strong one. That I'd survive this. That Viren wouldn't. That if I could just give it time, the family could heal and move forward. They asked you to forgive him. They asked me to sacrifice my dignity so everyone else could be comfortable, Arden corrected. They wanted me to pretend my wife didn't sleep with my brother for 8 months. To raise another man's child. To keep working alongside Viren like nothing happened. All to preserve the family image. What did you say? Nothing. I sat there, listened to every word, and said absolutely nothing. He met my eyes. Then I went home, filed for divorce, and started reviewing every business contract we had. You planned your exit. I planned everything. For the first time, something sharp entered his voice. I went through every partnership agreement, every asset division clause, every regulatory filing. And I found exactly what I expected. Viren had been sloppy. Verbal agreements with no documentation. Personal expenses running through business accounts. Missed compliance deadlines. Shortcuts everywhere. You used that. I exercised every buyout clause I was entitled to. Transferred my ownership shares to a holding company I'd set up. Severed every legal tie to the business and the family. Took my capital and left. How long did it take? 60 days. Divorce was finalized without contest. Sloan knew better than to fight. I relocated here, and I never looked back. He stood, walked to the window, hands in his pockets. They thought I left broken. They thought I'd come crawling back eventually, that I'd realize family was more important than pride. But you didn't leave broken. No. He turned to face me. I left prepared. The city lights reflected in his eyes. He didn't just walk away, I said slowly, understanding settling in. He made sure that when they needed him, and he knew they would, he'd be impossible to reach. Arden didn't confirm it. He didn't need to. The silence told me everything. Walk me through it, I said. How did you know they'd need you? Arden returned to the couch, more relaxed now that the worst of it was out. Viren always took shortcuts. Always. In school, in business, in life. He'd find the fastest route and convince himself it was the smartest one. He picked up his glass again. I knew he'd overextend. He couldn't help himself. Overextend how? The business had a sustainable growth model when I was involved. Conservative acquisitions, thorough due diligence, long-term planning. The second I left, Viren threw that out. Arden's tone was matter of fact. I predicted he'd open at least 3 new properties within 18 months. Try to prove he didn't need me. Did he? 4. And every single one underperformed because he didn't do proper market analysis. I set my glass down. You track this? I didn't have to track it. Public business filings told me everything I needed to know. Environmental permits, labor complaints, investor disclosures, it's all accessible if you know where to look. So you watched him fail. I watched him make predictable mistakes, Arden corrected. There's a difference. I didn't sabotage anything. I just didn't save him from himself. The more he talked, the clearer it became. This wasn't revenge born from rage. It was strategy born from clarity. When you bought out your shares, I said, you knew the business would collapse without you. I knew it would struggle. My parents were too old to manage the financial side, and Viren didn't have the discipline. But I also knew they'd rather struggle than admit they made the wrong choice. He met my eyes. So I let them. No guilt? None. They asked me to betray myself for their comfort. I refused. That's not cruelty. That's self-preservation. I believed him. More than that, I respected him. Over the next few weeks, I helped Arden restructure some of his asset protections. Legal housekeeping, mostly, but it gave me a full view of what he'd built. The portfolio was impressive. Distressed properties purchased at steep discounts, renovated efficiently, leased to stable long-term tenants. Everything operated through layered LLCs with airtight operating agreements. No exposure. No vulnerability. You really did erase your past, I said one afternoon, reviewing documents in his office. I replaced it, he said. There's a difference. Semantics. Precision. He leaned back in his chair. Erasing implies running away. I relocated deliberately. Built something better. That's not erasure, that's evolution. I looked up from the contracts. Do you ever regret leaving? No. No hesitation. I regret wasting time on people who valued comfort over integrity. But leaving? That was the smartest decision I ever made. That's when I chose him. Not the version his family wanted him to be, the forgiving son, the understanding brother, the man who'd sacrifice himself to keep everyone else comfortable. I chose the version he actually was. Disciplined. Intentional. Unapologetic about boundaries. Our relationship deepened naturally after that. No grand declarations, no dramatic shifts. Just two people who understood each other building something real. He respected my work. I respected his autonomy. We didn't need to fill silences or perform connection. It just existed. Months passed. Then a year. Then two. Life was stable. Private. Intentional. I handled his legal work. He expanded his portfolio into Wyoming and Montana. We traveled when we felt like it. Discussed marriage casually, the way people do when they're already committed without needing a ceremony to prove it. The Cades became a closed chapter. Ancient history. Arden never mentioned them, and I never asked. Until 3 years after he left, when the calls started. The first one came on a Tuesday morning. I was at his place, reviewing acquisition documents for a property in Bozeman, when his phone buzzed on the counter. Unknown number. Omaha area code. Arden glanced at it, then ignored it. You're not going to answer? No. The phone stopped ringing. 30 seconds later, it started again. Same number. Arden silenced it and went back to reading. Could be important, I said. It's not. How do you know? He looked at me, expression unreadable. Because no one from Omaha has anything important to say to me. The calls didn't stop. Over the next week, they came daily. Different numbers, always the same area code. Arden blocked each one without listening to the voicemails. I watched his discipline hold, no curiosity, no hesitation, no cracks. But the voicemail transcriptions piled up on his phone. I saw fragments when he scrolled past them. Arden, it's your mother. Please call. We need to talk about Viren. This is urgent. Please, just pick up. He deleted each one without reading the full message. Don't you want to know what happened? I asked after the 10th call. I already know, Arden said calmly. Viren failed. They're panicking. They want me to fix it. And you won't. I can't fix what I'm not responsible for breaking. The calls continued. Weekly, then daily, then multiple times a day. Different numbers, relatives, probably. Maybe Sloan. Arden blocked them all. 6 months of relentless attempts. Then one morning, a voicemail came through before he could block the number. The transcription appeared on his screen while we were having coffee. I saw it before he did. Arden, your father had a stroke. Viren's dying. The business is gone. I don't know what to do. Please call. I looked up. Arden was reading it, face completely unreadable. Long silence. Then he set the phone down and looked at me. If they call again, he said quietly, answer it. I waited for him to elaborate. He didn't. What do you want me to tell them? I asked. Arden looked at me with that same steady calm I'd seen when he bid on properties. No emotion. Just calculation. Nothing they can use. I understood immediately. Not silence, something worse. Truth without mercy. Information without salvation. You want them to know you're okay, I said slowly. You want them to know you've moved on. But you don't want to give them anything that helps. Exactly. That's cold. It's honest. He picked up his coffee. They made their choice. I made mine. If they're suffering consequences now, that's not my responsibility. I should have been disturbed. Maybe a softer person would have been. But I'm an appellate attorney. I've seen what happens when people prioritize comfort over justice. I've watched clients get destroyed because they were too decent to protect themselves. Arden wasn't being cruel. He was being clear. All right, I said. If they call, I'll answer. He nodded once, then went back to reading the property report like we just discussed landscaping. The next call came 2 days later. I was in Arden's home office, drafting an LLC amendment, when his phone lit up. Different number, same area code. I looked at him. He glanced at the screen, then gestured toward it. I answered. Hello? Silence. Then a woman's voice, shaky and confused. Who is this? Thea. Who's this? I'm trying to reach Arden Cade. This is his mother. Her voice cracked on the last word. I kept mine level. Arden's unavailable right now. Unavailable? She sounded stunned. This is his mother. I need to speak with him immediately. He asked me to take this call. Another pause. I could hear her breathing, trying to regain control. Are you his assistant? I'm his partner. That landed hard. I heard her sharp intake of breath. Partner? I see. Her tone shifted, trying for authority. Well, this is a family matter. I really need to speak with Arden directly. He's aware you've been calling. He asked me to handle it. Handle it? Her voice rose. My husband had a stroke. My son is dying. Our family is falling apart, and Arden won't even pick up the phone? I let the silence sit for a moment. Then, Mrs. Cade, I understand this is difficult. But Arden's made his position clear. What position? He's my son. He was your son. Before you asked him to forgive the unforgivable. The line went quiet. I could hear her crying softly. Is that what he told you? She finally said. That we asked him to forgive? He told me you asked him to sacrifice his dignity to keep the family comfortable. Is that inaccurate? No response. Mrs. Cade, why are you calling? She pulled herself together, voice steadying. We need help. The business is gone. Viren can't work, he's on dialysis, waiting for a transplant. Wallace can't manage anything after the stroke. I'm trying to hold everything together, but I can't do this alone. What does this have to do with Arden? He knows the business. He has connections. He could help us restructure what's left, negotiate with creditors, maybe salvage something. Salvage what, exactly? The family legacy. The company his grandfather built. The company that chose Viren over him. Another long silence. We made mistakes, she said quietly. I know that. But this is bigger than old grievances. Viren is dying, and we're losing everything. Doesn't Arden care about that at all? I glanced at Arden. He was watching me, completely still. Waiting. Mrs. Cade, I need to ask you something directly. When Arden left, did anyone try to stop him? We thought he needed space. We thought he'd calm down and come back. That's not what I asked. Did anyone try to stop him? We didn't think we had to, she said, voice breaking. He's family. Family doesn't just abandon each other. No, I said quietly. They betray each other. Then they ask the person they betrayed to pretend it never happened. She started crying again. Please. Just ask him to call. 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking. I'll relay your message. Will he call back? I looked at Arden again. He gave a single, slight shake of his head. No, Mrs. Cade. He won't. Why? Her voice cracked completely. What do we have to do? What does he want from us? Nothing. That's what you don't understand. He doesn't want anything from you. Then what's the point of this call? I paused, choosing my words carefully. The point is so you know he's alive. He's successful. And he's not coming back. She started to respond, but I wasn't done. You wanted him to forgive what couldn't be forgiven. He chose to leave instead. That choice hasn't changed. And it won't change because Viren's sick or because the business failed or because you're desperate now. How can he be so heartless? He's not heartless. He just stopped giving his heart to people who broke it. The line went dead. I set the phone down and looked at Arden. She's going to call again, I said. I know. What do I tell her next time? He stood, walked to the window, hands in his pockets. Tell her the truth. Just not the part that saves them. I nodded. Understanding settled deeper. This wasn't about punishment. It was about boundaries. Arden wasn't trying to hurt them, he was simply refusing to save them. And that refusal, that absolute withdrawal of support, was more devastating than any revenge could be. Because they'd built their whole world expecting him to come back. And he never would. The next morning, his phone rang again. Same number. I looked at Arden. He nodded. I answered. Hello? It's Irene again. Her voice was steadier this time. More determined. I need to know what you told Arden. I told him everything you said. And he asked me to take any future calls. So he's just going to hide behind you? I almost laughed. Mrs. Cade, Arden isn't hiding. He's simply not available to you. There's a difference. I don't understand the distinction. I know. That's the problem. She took a breath. I heard her composing herself, switching tactics. Thea. That's your name, right? Yes. You seem like a reasonable person. Educated. Professional. Her tone shifted toward pleading. You understand family obligations, don't you? I understand boundaries. This isn't about boundaries. This is about life and death. Then tell me what's happening, I said. Specifically. No emotional appeals. Just facts. Silence. Then she started talking. Viren's kidney function dropped below 15% 3 months ago. He's on dialysis 4 times a week. We've tested everyone in the family, no matches. He's on the transplant list, but his condition is deteriorating faster than expected. I took notes. Clinical. Detached. The business? Gone. Completely insolvent. We had 4 properties in foreclosure before we finally liquidated everything. The investors filed suit, breach of contract, misrepresentation. We're facing personal liability because Viren mixed business and personal accounts. How much? 2.3 million. Maybe more once the lawyers finish. I wrote that down too. Wallace? Stroke 6 weeks ago. Left side paralyzed. He can barely speak. He's in a care facility now. Her voice cracked. I'm managing his medical decisions, trying to deal with the lawsuits, and watching Viren die. I can't do this alone. What about Sloan? Long pause. She left 2 years ago. Took Hugo, that's their son, and moved back to her parents' place in Iowa. She couldn't handle the stress. So she's gone too. Yes. Anyone else helping? Extended family offers sympathy. No one offers money. Bitterness crept into her tone. Everyone loved the Cades when we were successful. Now we're just an embarrassment. I let her sit with that for a moment. Mrs. Cade, why are you telling me all this? Because Arden has the expertise to help us navigate this. He understands complex financial restructuring. He has industry connections. He could negotiate with the creditors, maybe find a way to settle the lawsuits for less. He could, I agreed. Hope flared in her voice. So he'll help? I didn't say that. The hope died immediately. Then why did you say he could? Because you asked if he had the capability. He does. But capability and willingness are different things. Why are you doing this? Her voice turned sharp. Why are you playing games when my family is falling apart? I'm not playing games. I'm being precise. You need to understand something, Mrs. Cade. Arden didn't disappear. He didn't break down. He didn't spend 5 years wallowing or self-destructing. Then what did he do? He relocated. Built a new portfolio. Became very successful. Silence. He's successful? Very. Private commercial real estate, mostly. Steady growth, strong returns. He's doing extremely well. Where? That's not information I'm going to share. But he's okay? He's healthy? Completely. I heard her exhale, relief and despair mixed together. So he doesn't need us, she said quietly. No. He doesn't. But we need him. I know. And he knows that. Yes. And he still won't help. No. Another long silence. When she spoke again, her voice was small. What do I tell everyone? The family, the lawyers, Viren? Tell them the truth. Arden is alive. He's thriving. He's built a good life. That's not going to help us. I know. Then what's the point? The point, I said carefully, is so you understand that he didn't fail. You didn't break him. He just chose differently. Chose what? Himself. Over people who asked him to betray himself. We didn't ask him to betray. Yes, you did. You asked him to forgive Viren. To accept that his wife slept with his brother for 8 months. To raise another man's child. To keep working alongside someone who destroyed his marriage. My voice stayed level. That's not forgiveness. That's self-destruction. And he refused. It's been 5 years. People heal. Families move past things. Some things don't get moved past. They just get left behind. So that's it? We just suffer while he lives comfortably in some other city? Yes. How is that fair? Fair? I set my pen down. You chose Viren over Arden. You chose the brother who betrayed him over the son who built your business. You chose comfort over justice. And now you're experiencing the consequences of that choice. We chose family. No. You chose the family member who needed more support. There's a difference. She started crying again. Real, broken sobs. He's my son too. Both of them are. Then you should have acted like it when it mattered. Can you at least tell him we're sorry? He doesn't need your apologies. He needed them 5 years ago. Now he just needs you to understand that he's done. What if Viren dies? Then Viren dies. That's tragic. But it's not Arden's responsibility. You really believe that? I do. She pulled herself together one last time. Will you tell him we called? He already knows. Will he change his mind? No. Ever? No. How can you be so certain? Because I know him. And he made peace with this decision years ago. You're the one still fighting it. The line went quiet for a long time. Then, barely a whisper, he really isn't coming back. No, Mrs. Cade. He's not. She hung up. I set the phone down and turned around. Arden was standing in the doorway. I don't know how long he'd been there. Did you tell her the truth? He asked. Yes. Good. He stepped into the room. Now they know I'm alive, and that I'm done. There were no more calls after that. No voicemails. No desperate messages from relatives. No attempts to bypass me and reach Arden directly. Just silence. We never discussed it again. There was nothing left to say. Arden went back to reviewing property acquisitions. I went back to drafting contracts. Life continued exactly as it had before the call started, steady, private, intentional. 4 months later, I was having coffee and scrolling through news on my tablet when I saw it. Small obituary in the Omaha Tribune. Easy to miss if you weren't looking. Viren Cade, 36, passed away peacefully surrounded by family. Survived by his son Hugo, parents Wallace and Irene Cade, and extended family. Memorial service will be held Saturday at. I read it twice, then set the tablet down. Arden was at the counter, pouring himself coffee. I slid the tablet toward him without saying anything. He glanced at it. Read for maybe 10 seconds. Then he slid it back. Any regrets? I asked. No. He sat down across from me. I made peace with this years ago. They probably think you're heartless. They can think whatever they want. It doesn't change anything. I studied him. No tension in his shoulders. No tightness around his eyes. No lingering guilt or second guessing. He meant it. You know what I realized? I said. What? You didn't need revenge. You just needed freedom. He considered that. Freedom from what? From their expectations. From the version of you they wanted you to be. I picked up my coffee. They wanted you to be the son who forgives. The brother who moves past betrayal. The man who sacrifices himself so everyone else stays comfortable. And I wasn't that person. No. You were the person who knew his own worth and refused to negotiate it. Arden smiled slightly. That sounds like something an attorney would say. It's true though. They called you heartless because you wouldn't bleed for them anymore. But walking away wasn't cruelty. It was self-preservation. Most people don't see the difference. Most people haven't been asked to forgive the unforgivable. He reached across the table, took my hand. Thank you. For what? For answering that call. For telling them the truth. He squeezed gently. For understanding why I couldn't. You could have, I said. You just chose not to. There's power in that. You think so? I know so. They spent 5 years thinking you were broken. Thinking you'd eventually come crawling back because you needed them. I squeezed back. Instead, you built something better. And when they finally realized it, you didn't rub it in their faces. You just weren't there. Because I wasn't. Exactly. That's what they could never accept. You didn't just leave physically. You left completely. Emotionally, financially, psychologically. You became unreachable. Arden looked at me for a long moment. Is that what you told her? When she called? More or less. I told her you were successful. Healthy. Thriving. And that you weren't coming back. Nothing they could use. Just the truth they needed to hear. He nodded slowly. You were right, you know. I didn't need revenge. I just needed them to understand I didn't belong to them anymore. And now they do. Now they do. We sat in comfortable silence for a while. Outside, Denver was waking up, traffic building, people heading to work, the city moving forward like it always did. What happens if they try again? I asked. Different crisis. Same desperation. Arden didn't hesitate. We don't answer. Not even to tell them no? They already know the answer. They've known for 5 years. If they choose not to accept it, that's their problem, not ours. I smiled. Fair enough. He stood, refilled both our coffees. We should finalize that Montana deal this week. The inspection report came back clean. Just like that. Moving forward. No looking back. That's when I fully understood what Arden had done. He hadn't destroyed his family. He hadn't sabotaged Viren's business or manipulated their downfall. He just removed himself from the equation entirely. And without him, without his competence, his discipline, his ability to see problems before they became catastrophic, they'd collapsed under their own weight. The revenge wasn't active. It was passive. It was absence. They'd built their whole world assuming he'd always be there to catch them. And when they needed him most, he simply wasn't. Because he'd already caught himself. We spent the next few months exactly as we'd spent the previous ones. Arden expanded his portfolio into Idaho. I handled increasingly complex legal work for his acquisitions. We talked about marriage seriously for the first time, not as a someday thing, but as an actual plan. No drama. No ghosts from the past. No unresolved trauma bleeding into our present. Just two people building something real. One evening, we were on his balcony watching the sunset when he said, "You know what's strange?" "What?" "I don't think about them anymore. Not with anger or sadness or anything. They just exist in the past. Like a business deal that closed years ago." That's healthy. Is it? Or is it cold? I turned to face him. It's honest. They made choices. You made choices. The consequences played out exactly as they should have. You don't owe them your pain or your guilt or your ongoing emotional investment. You sound very certain. I am certain. Because I watched you refuse to be destroyed. I watched you build boundaries that actually protected you instead of just performing forgiveness to make other people comfortable. I took his hand. They called you heartless. But you're not. You just decided your heart belonged to you, not to people who'd weaponize it. He pulled me closer. I chose right. You chose yourself. That's the only choice that mattered. We stood there as the city lights started coming on, one by one, filling the darkness. They wanted the man who'd saved them. They got the man who saved himself. And he never looked back. Because he didn't need to. He'd already chosen his future. And I made sure that future never looks back. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you really like our videos, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day.